time.
Amen.
But it's been good. Amen. It's been good. And last week I don't know what I was doing, but I realized that it had been 5 years from the time that the Lord had commanded me to leave my corporate job and to start my business. And you know how sometimes things don't go the way you think?
Amen.
That was not my plan at all. I thought I would be more settled. I thought I would have more money. I thought all these different things. But when he said do it, what do? You do what he tells you to do, right? And so I was amazed that 5 years had gone by. It doesn't seem like it. And really, quite frankly, if I hadn't thought of it, I would have thought it was maybe like 2.5, 3. But it's been 5 years, and he has blessed me. And I did a periscope about it because I was like, you know, all of the things that you learned through the process of starting your own business. Amen. And everybody is here to either start a business, to birth that thing out that God has given them, or to expand it, to grow it, to do something more with it. Amen. And so I wanted to speak to you all a little bit about that. We're all forerunners.
Amen.
We're all pioneers. If God has given you a dream, if God has given you a mandate, if God has given you a calling, he has called you to be a forerunner.
Amen.
We're all forerunners in here.
Amen.
All right? There are people that need what we have, that nobody else can touch because they're not in our realm or other people's realm, right? So you're a forerunner. You are a pioneer in the thing that God has put on your heart and placed on your heart. Amen. So anyway, if you're interested in hearing a little bit more about, you know, how my 5-year journey was or whatnot, catch me on Periscope. I think my handle is Shannon Butterfly or Shannon something. I can't remember. And I'm also going to try to upload it to my Facebook page, which is ShannonM Coach. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get started. You know, there are so many things about the promises of God that that we have to be aware of that can hinder us actually making it into the fullness of what God has called us to come into. Amen. And he's been really talking to me a lot about Moses, you know. And I love Moses. I love Moses because Moses clearly was a forerunner. Clearly he was a pioneer. Clearly he was called of God. But we know one thing. He didn't make it in. He did not make it in. And so I'm not here to tickle your fancy. I'm not here to make you shout. I'm not here to make you run. I'm here to give you some practical things that you can take with you so that you will make it in.
Amen. Yes.
We need to make it in. Amen?
Amen.
We need to make it in. So, and the thing is, you know, we can look at the world and see, you know, all these people who are making millions and billions and all of this money, right? They're making all of this money. People who are wicked, making all of this money. People who don't honor the Lord, making all of this money. People who do not follow God, making all of this money. And yet, we look at the church. And I'm like, what's going on, God? What's going on? What is going on? I remember when I was in college, and I went to college in DC, and the church that I was attending at the time, the pastor had come onto the platform or whatever, and they were honoring one of the mothers of the church, and he was so happy to be able to say that he was able to buy one of the mothers of the church a microwave because her microwave had just broken and everything like that. And I was like, this woman was a prayer warrior. This woman was somebody who contended on behalf of people in the church, on behalf of the pastors. I was like, here I was, a college student. I was like, something is wrong with that woman can't afford a microwave. Something is wrong with that. I was like, God, something is wrong with that. That thing bothered me so bad. This is the state of the church. This is the state of people who pray. This is the state of people who love God, but still are not doing financially, are not at where they should be. Amen?
Amen.
That's an issue. And that's the type of thing that makes me mad. If you are on your face before the Lord, if you love God, you should not be broke.
Amen.
Let me tell you something. I want to drop the mic right here. You should not be broke.
Amen.
You should not be moving from paycheck to paycheck. You should not be always trying to figure out who to pay first. You should live in abundance. See, this is, you know how you have that thing that like gets under you? Like that thing? This is my thing. This is one of my things. I do not like to see people of God who are true people of God. I'm not talking about those other people. I'm not talking about those other, I'm talking about the true people of God. I do not like to see the people of God struggle financially, because it doesn't have to be that way.
Amen.
So there are a couple of things that the Lord has been showing me about the life of Moses that I'm going to talk about. So this is an evening, I don't know, afternoon. Amen. Evening, right? And the thing is that when we see the people in the world make all this money being wicked, and we see people of God struggling, they are utilizing, they are walking out, they are apprehending the practical, the practical, the practical stuff, right? And all that stuff is in the Word of God, but somehow we as a people are missing it. We think that flossing and tossing and buying this and buying that and doing this and going here and looking this way and buying all the bags and buying all the and don't get me wrong, let me tell you something, I like nice stuff too. But there's a problem with our mentality when we're supposed to be builders as pioneers and forerunners. We're supposed to be building, but we want to spend everything. We want to spend everything. And my grandmother, she is 101. And from the time that I was tiny, she was always like, Shannon, it doesn't matter how much you make, it matters how much you save. It matters how much you put away. And I watched this woman growing up build. Now, she's a black woman in the South, and she would buy property, buy it, buy it, buy it, buy it. And I would watch her, and she would pay her bills, and she would, all this stuff. You grow up, I go to grandma's house, you see what she does. She's like, oh no, yeah, I got a 15-year mortgage, but I'm paying it off in 10 on that property. Yeah, I got a this mortgage, but I'm paying it off in 5 on that property. And she wasn't out here flossing and tossing. People didn't know. She wasn't wearing all the brand names. But you know what she always told me? Sacrifice. Because you know what? We have to build for our future and for our future, for the future of our families. And for other people who are looking at us. There are people who are looking at you. That you don't even know. They're looking at you. They're watching you. right? Some of the people are looking because they're like, okay, let me see if they're gonna, if they're going somewhere. There's something on them. They know that you are anointed. They don't know what to call it. They don't know why they're drawn to you, but they know that you're anointed, so they're watching you.
Amen.
And other people are watching you for the other reason. They don't want you to make it because they know you are anointed. Right?
Thank you.
So we need to walk out the practical principles in the Bible. And the thing is, like I was saying before, the practical principles will work for whomever knows them. So we think that because we're in church, that stuff should just fall on us sometimes, or we just take certain things for granted. And we think because we know God, because we love God, that God is just going to open up the windows of heaven. No, He expects us to use practical principles.
That's right.
Yes, we need the Spirit of God. Yes, but guess what? He's not going to bless you if you don't know how to manage your money.
That's right.
Amen.
One of the things that our call is as forerunners, as pioneers, is to be barrier breakers.
That's good.
We are called to break barriers. And some of the other speakers already alluded to it. Some of the barriers have to do with family barriers. Some of the barriers have to do with, regional barriers even, right? We're afraid to step out of our region because that's what we're familiar with, that's what we're comfortable with, that's what right? Even sometimes I hear people saying that they're not going to step out of a barrier as far as their education or their employment, right? So they've done this for 25 years, so they're not gonna be employed somewhere else doing something else because that's what's familiar to them. So they're not willing to break that barrier. But we're called to break barriers.
Amen.
We're called to break barriers. And you have to be willing to have that mindset to break them.
Amen.
Amen?
Amen.
So I love the fact that God uses the least qualified, the least expected. I love the fact that, He used Esther, the orphan who became queen. I love the fact that He used Joseph, the spoiled brat of a little brother who becomes the ruler. Gideon, the son of the least family in the least tribe. I mean, if you read his story, he's like, you know what? There's no one lower than me. Like, we're the least people of the least tribe, of the least family, and I'm the least in my family. Nobody's looking at me. Nobody's thinking anything of me. And God was like, mighty man of God.
That's right. That's what he said.
Right? I love the fact that He used David, the overlooked son who becomes king. The overlooked son. The overlooked son. His dad didn't even think enough of him to call him in. When Samuel the prophet said, bring me your sons. One of them I have to anoint to be the next king. His dad was like, yeah, bring them all in. Spirit's like, none of these, they look good, but the anointing ain't on them.
Amen.
You got any others?
Come on.
And what did the dad say? Oh, yeah. I'll get that boy out in the field with the sheep. Go get him. He ain't the one, but just go get him. Because that's the last of the last, right?
Come on.
So, God uses the people that nobody expects, that nobody thinks is qualified. And some of us feel like that sometimes. We don't have the right pedigree. We don't talk a certain way. We don't come from the right family. We don't come from money. We haven't been exposed to this, that, or the other. And God is like, yeah, that's what I want. That's what I want. We feel like because we don't have the education, Do you know how many people I know have told me, well, Shannon, you have an MBA? And I'm like, you are so much smarter than me, it's ridiculous. I told people that. I'm like, dude, don't let those degrees fool you. That has nothing to do with where you can go.
My God. Yeah, that's right.
You
Yeah,
know
you're
that.
talking the truth. Amen.
Yes. Amen.
I'm telling the truth here,
Amen.
right?
Yeah.
So, what I love is that these seemingly insignificant people, right, the forgotten ones, the least of the least, the orphans, the ones that nobody wanted, they are the ones who are memorialized forever in the Word of God because they embraced what God called them to do and they impacted others. That hit me the other day. I was like, they are forever memorialized. You know, the people who thought they were great, we don't hear nothing about them. They like one line in the Bible, and then you don't hear nothing about them. You don't hear nothing about them after that, right? The people who thought they were all that, God didn't do nothing with them. He didn't do a thing with them. And so if you feel that way today, I want to give you some hope.
Amen.
Amen.
You are not overlooked. You are not forgotten. You are not incapable. You are not unqualified. You are not any of those things that the devil has tried to label you.
Amen.
Come on now.
Amen.
Because you know that's where it's coming from. It's the enemy. You're not any of that stuff. You are who God tells you and everybody else who you are. God is the only label. I've had to tell people in my family who try to say, oh, well, you, let me stop you right there. Boop, not receiving it.
Amen.
Right.
People older than me, people who, you know, I respect it. You know, they're elders, they're this or that. Nope. See, that's where I draw the line. Because unless you're speaking about me, what God says, not receiving it.
That's right.
And then, you know what I do right in front of them? I break the power of that word in the name of Jesus.
Amen.
Don't receive it.
Amen.
Nobody defines you outside of God.
Amen.
No one. Not your mother, not your father, not your siblings, not your grandparents.
Teach.
I don't care who they are.
Teach.
No one. No one.
Amen.
No one.
Amen.
And people have spoken things over all of us that are not truth.
Amen.
And we have allowed those lies to impact us and to affect our trajectory.
Amen. That's truth right there.
Yep.
So finally, Moses, the other person that I want to talk to, the seemingly unknown, unexpected. You know, his entire life, you know, I looked at his life as a whole, and his entire life, from his birth, who he was birthed through, was like the fingerprint of God all over it. You know, the people, the Hebrews, the Israelites had been praying for 400 years. They had been in captivity for 400 years. And finally, God was like, I'm going to send a deliverer. But it can't just be anybody. It's got to be somebody who has compassion, right? So it's got to be somebody from that people group. And it's got to be somebody who has access to that royal kingdom. So he makes sure that he sets that whole story up so that Moses' mom, who works in the royal palace, has the baby, sends the baby down the river, makes sure that, you know, I can't remember if it was the daughter or one of them who was in the royal palace, finds him, takes him in, raises him as a brother. I mean, only God can make this stuff up. There's no way that the fingerprints of God are not all over that, right? So the thing is, he had to have that access to royalty because he had to have the royal acumen to know how to come to them when the time for deliverance
Yeah.
Amen.
You gotta know how to talk to who you need to talk to when you need to talk to them.
Amen.
Right?
Right. Yes, ma'am.
And so it was like, I was like, okay, how am I gonna do this? Okay, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna put that together, I'm gonna this, that, or whatever. Perfect. He was clearly called of God, clearly called a deliverer. He was highly anointed, incredibly gifted. He was the one. He had the fingerprints of God all over him for that specific assignment. Greatness was in him. Greatness is in us.
Amen.
We're called. We're anointed. We have the mandate of God. Moses didn't make it in.
Mm.
We gotta make sure we make it in.
Amen.
That's for sure.
There's too much on the line. He spent 40 years in preparation and was not able to fulfill the calling. 40. 40 years. I was like, my God, 40 years preparing for something that you are not able to fulfill.
Mm.
That's deep. I don't want to spend 40 years preparing for nothing.
Amen.
But if I do, I want to make sure.
Come on.
Right?
That's right.
And the thing is with Moses is that, man, he got those people out. We saw that. He got them people out. But he wasn't able to get them in.
Mm.
So there are some people in our lives that were able to get us out of circumstances and situations. They were able to bring deliverance. They were able to redeem in certain situations. They were able to help us. But guess what? We can't allow our loyalty to be so loyal to think that those are the same people who are going to bring us in.
That's good.
Because some people have a false sense of loyalty. They think, well, you know, this person helped me get off of drugs. Well, this minister helped me with this. Well, this person, da 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 da. And I think that's wonderful. Yes, honor them. Absolutely honor them. You know? But that doesn't mean that you are forever tethered to them.
Amen.
We gotta get in, y'all. We got to get in. So, the first thing that I'm going to be talking about as far as the principle has to do with not just being willing to carry the mandate of God, the calling of God. We can't just be willing. And I gotta be a little bit transparent with my journey and what I'm walking through right now. So, I get an email from a man of God who, if the email text was like this, text. And the email was a rebuke to me. It was a rebuke. Have you ever gotten a rebuke from a man of God, woman of God, person of God, anybody? I was like, what is this? I know I'm not out of position. I ain't in no sin. I ain't this, I ain't that. And you know what it started off? You supposed to be doing X, Y, Z, A, B, C. You da 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 da. All this stuff that had been prophesied that I was supposed to be doing, but I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know how to do it. I did not know how to do it. And so the thing is, it was the first line was like, you're not doing such and such or whatever. But then it was all this wonderful stuff and, you know, all these blessings and all this other stuff. I couldn't get past that first line. I was like traumatized because I don't like to be out of position. I don't like to think that I'm doing something that's not of God or that I'm, you know, not in alignment with Him. That's sobering. I spent 2 days crying, y'all. 2. to do this. Show me. Lord, how do you do this? Like, I don't know. I don't know anyone to ask. I don't know I don't know. I know I'm supposed to be doing this, but how do you do this? How do you do this? Right?
Yeah.
And so this is what the Lord said. This is the first point. Okay, it's not about just doing it. It's not about being willing. It's not about saying, okay. He's like, you need to get your heart in it.
Wow.
You need to get your heart in it.
Uh-huh.
And until you get your heart in it, you're just going to be like a little mechanical instrument. Okay, go here. Okay, do this. Okay, I need your heart in it.
Uh-huh.
I need you to embrace it. You know those things that you want to do, those promises that Shannon, you are running after, those things that are all the, I don't know, all the fun stuff that, that we want. Yeah, you need to have that position in your heart towards the stuff, the promises that I have put in you. And not just be willing.
Wow.
He said you need to grab onto that thing in your heart. You need to have the zeal, the same level of zeal that you have for the stuff that you want, for the stuff that I want. And I was like, oh my gosh. I felt like I was sucker punched in the throat. I'm like, oh my gosh. Okay, so it's a heart thing. It's a heart thing, y'all. So if he's giving you something to do, it's a heart thing. You gotta grab onto it like it's the best thing in the world. You gotta have a heart for it. You gotta run with it. You gotta have a zeal for it. He was like, Shannon, that's it. That's it. I was like, okay. Okay. The stuff that we want to do, we'll be completely unhinged and inconvenienced for when we want to do something. I wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock. I want, yes. But when he's wake I'm like,
Come on. Be transparent. Come on.
right?
Yeah. Never miss a flight.
But the stuff I want, and we all have the stuff that we want. We all have our stuff. It might look different for everybody, but we all have our stuff. And he's like, oh no, you run with the same zeal with my stuff as you do with your stuff. I said, okay, all right. Embrace his dream for our lives like we embrace our own dreams for our lives. And the thing is, when we really haven't had like that heart shift, we really are not fully able to embrace our mandate. We can kind of get part of it, but we can't get the fullness of it because we haven't embraced it. We haven't embraced it. And the thing is, that's what happened with Moses. See, David embraced his calling. Esther embraced her calling. Gideon finally embraced his calling, right? Joseph embraced his calling. Moses, if you look at the scriptures, he's always saying, God, why did you bring these people to me? You embrace it. And there's some things that God is going to ask each one of us to do that's not going to be yummy. It's not going to be fun. It's not going to be anything that we want to do. All of us. Because if you're a forerunner, and you're a pioneer, and you're a barrier breaker, you are going to be asked to do stuff like that. That's just a fact. I told you nobody would be running, hooping, hollering, screaming, but we need this.
That's right.
Because we need to make it in.
That's right.
I don't want to be a Moses.
Come on.
I don't want to get all the way there and have God. Can you imagine? I'm so heartbroken for him. I was like, oh my gosh, God, why you deal with him like that? You know how you talk to God? God, why you deal with him like that? He made one mistake. He was like, no, it wasn't. It was a heart thing.
Wow.
I mean, I would always talk to God about this, like on and on. Why you deal with him like that? One mistake. He did so much for you. Moses was so obedient. Moses had so much access, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he had like mad access to God. So much so that when he came into his presence, the people could see him shining. Have you ever seen that from somebody? I haven't. Right? I was like, wow, he made one mistake. It wasn't one mistake. It was his heart position. You know, it all begins with the heart and it ends in the heart. And you know, when we look at the life of David, we see how he refused to retaliate against Saul when he had a murderous attack against him. He refused. He still honored the king. I don't know if I could have done that, y'all. Saul was after him. He wanted his head on a plate. And he let it be known. Right? He tried multiple times to kill him. But you know what? David still showed him great honor and respect. Which is almost like unbelievable. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you do that? I don't know if I could be that person. But he was. Because he knew his calling was greater than the attack. Is your calling greater than the attack that you're going through? Do you know it? Joseph, you know, I have such great respect for Joseph. You know, he refused, even when his brothers came, when he became ruler and his brothers came. He told his brothers, he was like, don't feel bad about what you did to me. God sent me here before you for a reason, for a purpose. Can you imagine? The same brothers who sold you into slavery, the same brothers that kicked off all of this stuff that happened in your life, prison, slavery, all of these things. And he was like, don't be upset about it. This was God's purpose. When things happen to us, are we saying that? I know I don't all the time. I'm like, get him, God, get him.
Help us, Holy Spirit.
Right? Get him, Lord, get him. I'll forgive him later, but get him now, Lord. Oh my goodness, we have to have a heart change. Amen. You know, because when we have a heart change, we'll have a perspective change. And that's the thing that Joseph and David had. The perspective. You know? And that's the one thing that Moses did not have. So, seeing things through God's lens and not the lens of all this hurt that we sometimes carry around. Bitterness from the past, jealousy from the past, anger from the past. You know, all these things, hurt even. You know, what people did to us. We can't carry all that stuff around. And when we have those things that happen, even disappointment, I had a season in my life where I dealt with a ton of disappointment. And it started really affecting me. It started really affecting me. You know, sometimes you put walls up. He's not in the walls. So Moses' attitude didn't just affect him, but it affected the people who he was called to lead. How many thousands of people? I think it was 20,000 men. So the women and the children weren't even included. So Moses' attitude affected the people who he was called to lead. So Moses didn't get in, and the people didn't get in. Everybody in here is called to nations. And whether your nations is 3 people or 33,000 people, I don't know. It doesn't matter. But you're called to the nations that God has called you to lead somewhere. So are you going to be the reason that your people don't get in?
Jesus.
I don't want to be the reason the people I'm to lead don't get in.
Amen.
I do not want that. I do not want that blood on my hands.
Come on.
Yeah.
That's the word.
So the thing is, the heart disposition, right? We don't just haphazardly stumble into the promised land, the things that God has called us into, the things that God has called us to. It doesn't just happen just because we're called, just because we have an anointing, just because we're gifted. You could prophesy from here to Delaware. That doesn't mean that you get in, right? And so the thing is, we have to also work on new mindsets, a new mentality. You know, promised land mandates a heart change, but it also mandates a mindset change. And we know that David was not the same boy when he was shepherding, and didn't think the same way when he was the king. We have to have a mindset shift. You can't do things the old way and expect to get in a new place. You can't have the old mentality and expect to get in a new place. See, this is what happens when there's no mind shift that we see on TV all the time. We see this with the athletes. We see this with singing superstars. You know what we see? Oh, he got a $38 million contract. 7 years later, where's the money?
Amen. That's right.
No mindset change. No mindset change. Because the thing is, if you don't change your mindset, by default, you'll end up where you started.
Wow.
How in the world do you lose $38 million in 7 years? I mean, it baffles me every time I hear it. But that spirit of poverty will find you.
Come on.
Right?
That's right.
So whatever your mind shift needs to be to get into the promised land, you need to be very well aware of it.
Amen.
Because even if you get into the place, you know what? That thing you're tethered to will drag you all the way back. There's this show, what is it called? Now all these millionaires, I forget the name of it. But
Shark Tank.
no, it was it actually featured, I don't know, about 12 people, very, very prominent people, who some of them were NBA superstars, some of them were football, some of them were singing, like MC Hammer or whatever was on there or whatnot. All these people who lost masses of money. Masses of money. And I just listened. And it was so sad. Because they didn't have a mindset change. They never changed their mentality. You cannot go into the new. We cannot go into the new with the old mindset. We can't do it. We can't do it. You can't have the whole old heart and you can't have the old mindset. Because that thing will drag you back. Right? And so, you know, the poverty mindset, that's so easy because we can all see it and relate to it. We see this on TV all the time. You know, how some stars, how some NBA player whoever lost all this money in a matter of a couple of years, and now they're filing for bankruptcy. But then you have the person who's making $28,000 a year, who's been diligent with their money, who's been saving their money, who's sacrificed with their money, who's, they die and they're like leaving like $2 million. Right? Mentality. Because the thing is, poverty has nothing to do with money, it has to do with mindset. Poverty has nothing to do with money, it has to do with mindset. Poverty has nothing to do with money, it has to do with mindset. We gotta get rid of any residual junk that would pull us back, whether or not it's heart issues, whether or not it's mindset issues. If we don't have a heart transformation, if we don't deal with those things, we're going to end up being Moses, which we can't afford to be.
Amen.
We can't afford to be. I don't want to see anyone in this room not come into the fullness of what God called them to do and what God wants through their lives and in their lives. Amen?
Amen.
Amen.
And so the thing is, what I noticed about Joseph and David and Esther and Gideon and all these other people is that they did not allow their past to define them or their future. Sometimes we allow our past, the thing that happened to us when we were 6, that somebody said over us, to define us or to define our future or how far we could go. They didn't allow the negativity of others to define them. They trusted God through the process, regardless of the circumstances. I thought about what Joseph must have felt like being in that prison, knowing that he didn't do what he was accused of, waiting for God to redeem him. Not just a year, not just 2 years, not like extended periods of time. And what that had to do, like how, I think about stuff like this because I'm like, how did they do it? Like, how did they overcome? How did they not allow the enemy to grab hold of them? How were they so steadfast in the Lord where, it's amazing. It's amazing. But you know what? They trusted God. Period.
Amen.
I don't know what's going on, God, but I trust you. I don't know how you're going to get me out of this, God, but I trust you. I don't know what, but I trust you. Right? They didn't get caught up in their circumstances. And I know I've been guilty of getting caught up in my circumstances.
Yeah.
Right? We get caught up in our circumstances sometimes. And God is like, I don't need you to get caught up in your circumstances. I don't need your face, your eyes looking at all of that stuff going on over here. You know what you look at, Shannon? You look at me.
Amen.
And you trust me.
Amen.
Period. And that's where it is. Period. Because I'm always like, well, what if I didn't ask you. He didn't ask you what if. But he didn't say but. Zip it. Right? We have all these conversations with God. If I don't, okay, not going there with you, Shannon. He said, trust me. Period. That's the end of it. These people, they didn't look at their own capabilities, but they looked at God's capabilities. Because really, it's not even about us and what we can do or can't do.
Amen.
It's about what God can do.
Amen.
All we have to do is be yielded and willing. Right?
Yeah.
And so many times, like, I'm like, well, I'm not even good at that. God, why you calling me to do something? I don't even know how I feel. He's like, yeah, I'm not really concerned about all that shit. You just do what I tell you to do.
Yeah.
Don't care.
You're right.
And you know what? I always try to tell them how I feel. Yeah, don't care, Shannon.
That's right. Come on, Shannon.
He don't care.
No.
I'm like, okay, God, I trust you. After all of that, you know what I do? Okay, God, I trust you.
Yeah, yeah,
Amen.
yeah, yeah.
Because what's the alternative?
Right.
There is none.
Yeah, telling the truth.
It's just, are you gonna listen? Are you gonna take the long way around or the short way?
Say that.
Mhm.
That's it.
Good word.
That's it. So Moses had an old mindset, right? And the only reason we know that is because at the end, when God commanded Moses to speak to the rock to bring the water forth for the people, what did he do? He reverted. He reverted. He reverted. He struck it. He did the thing that he had done. He didn't speak to the rock. He struck it. God said,
That's good.
wrong move, Moses. Wrong. And then the thing is this, when God told him to speak to the rock, you know what he did? He went back to the people. Why do I have to deal with you? Why da da ba 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 ba? He argued with the people. Because he didn't want the assignment. He never embraced the assignment.
Jesus.
Wow.
Lord help us.
Yes.
Why do you call me to lead these ungrateful people, God? He never embraced it.
Oh my God.
He never had a heart change. He never had a mind change. And throughout the journey, he continually questioned God. Why? Because he never wanted to call the mandate. And it was evident, you know? So the thing is, everybody who's called to be a pioneer, a forerunner, we will all be tested in this area.
Amen.
Because it's mandatory.
Yes.
We
Amen.
have to be. Because God's got to know that our heart is with him. He's got to know it. He's got to know it. He tested all these other people. And he's going to test us. Right? He's going to test us. So I'm just saying, are you going to pass or are you going to fail? Are you going to have a heart change? Are you going to have a mind change? Because the thing is, regardless of all of the stuff that we carry, regardless of all of the circumstances that God has divinely put in place for us to succeed, if that one thing does not happen in us, which is completely our choice, we won't make it in. So the thing is, well, I'm just going to go to the last thing and whatnot. The people. The people. The people are coming. The people who will talk about you. The people who will attack you. The people who want you to fail. The people who will slander you. The people who will bring you down. And the thing is, we all have those people. It's part of the process. It's just part of the process. And you have to expect that people are coming. They're coming. They're coming. Right? Can you deal with the people? Can you deal with the people with the heart of God? Just like David dealt with Saul with the heart of God. Joseph dealt with his brothers with the heart of God. I don't know if I'm there yet, y'all. It's a journey for me.
Come on.
Because people, they make you want to hurt them.
Yes.
Okay? Let's just be real. They will make you want to hurt them. You know, and these are the thing is, these are the people who you are pouring into. These are the people who you are ministering to. These are family members. These are the people who you've sacrificed for, given to. These aren't even the other people. These are the Christians in the church.
Yes. Yes.
These are people who supposedly love Jesus. Mm. And the thing about Moses' journey is this. God was so like, he gave Moses so much favor. Anytime somebody came up against Moses, God was like, no you don't. Remember the people of Korah? What happened? They were like, Moses, why do you think that you're the only holy one? Why do you think that you're the only leader? Everybody here is holy. Everybody follows God. You're not the only leader. God said, Moses, tell the people to step back because I'm about to swallow them up. And guess what? The land opened up.
And that was it.
And now they good. God was like, you're not coming against my man. And we've all experienced the same thing. Where God has been like, you know what? Don't mess with her. Don't mess with him. We've seen it, right?
Yep.
We've seen it. He won't even let your family sometimes come against you. What happened with Miriam? Oh, Miriam was like talking against her brother. Moses, you married that girl? She not from the tribe. Why you marrying her? And they want to go behind Moses' back and kiki with somebody else. Look at what Moses is doing. Look at Moses. He know that he shouldn't be doing that. Moses knew who God called him to be with. And you know what happened? His own sister got that leprosy. Miriam was like, Moses had to contend for her. These are people Moses lead coming up against him. But God had his back. God had his back. And God has our backs.
That's right.
But will we get in? I tell you, why am I saying this to you? Because you can be favored. You can be anointed. You can be called. You can have a mandate. We were all born for such a time as this, to move in the areas that God has called us to move in regarding business and other areas. For such a time as this. It's no mistake, right? And you can walk closely with the Lord just like Moses. But if you don't deal with the mindset, you don't deal with the heart, and you don't know how to deal with the people, right? And so back to my testimony. You know what I had to do when he showed me that? I had to repent. I mean, you know, like I said, I spent 2 days crying, another day angry. Why you feeling me like this, God? Why you being like this with me? I've been praying. I've been asking. I've been on my knees. I've been fasting. Oh, we were talking. I was like, you and me, God, come on. What's up with this? He's like, what's up with your heart? Okay. All right, Lord. All right. Alright, okay, I got it. I repent. That's a hard pill to swallow. And I wasn't quite sure I was going to share all that. But if we don't get it right, that's what happens. But you know what? I praise the Lord that He allowed that person to give me that word so that I could get myself in position. He cared enough,
That's right. Thank you, Lord.
right? He cared enough. He cared enough. And so then I was like, oh God, yeah, you could have let me go like 18 years. You could have let me go 40.
That's right. Jesus. That's right.
But he didn't. And so the thing is, sometimes we don't know what to do because it's still not clear to me. You know, I'm working on the heart thing, right? But even when we don't know what to do, we walk blindly forward. We just keep it moving. You just move. You don't know what you're doing yet. But guess what? If you keep it moving,
God will make the way.
That's good.
sometimes the thing is we want to see the brick in front of us that we're stepping on. He don't ever want us to see that. You know what he wants us to do? Step. And then when you land, I'll put the brick there.
My God. That's right. Come on, Diane. All right, that's up. Good.
Trust me. Trust me. Will you trust me? You keep walking. I know you feel like you're walking in the dark, blindfolded, don't have nothing around you. You are like, that's how I feel almost all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
The last 5 years of business, that's how it was. Because guess what? When you're a forerunner, you got to figure it out when you're going through the process, through the journey. I looked all over the internet for people who did what I do. And I was like, I don't see that many people here, God. I need a mentor. Like, who can I? He was like, you know what? I'm your mentor.
Yes. Yes. That's right. Yes. Come on.
Okay, I need a human mentor. But when you're a forerunner, that means that you're going places that nobody has gone before.
My God. That is the truth.
When you are a pioneer, that means that you are, you know how they have what are those things called where the brush, where they take the brush down, what do they call those things? The big old machete.
Okay.
Yeah. You got your machete out. You're a forerunner. You're a pioneer. You're a barrier breaker.
Come on.
It's you. You making the path. You making the path for everybody else who's looking at you.
Yeah.
And do you know how many people I have had come up to me who have been like, people who I don't even like. I mean, people who don't like me, I have no issue with them. But people who I know don't like me, they were like, Shannon, you know what? You inspired me to start my own thing. I said, I did? Well, praise the Lord. Because I'm telling you one thing. I was thinking to myself, you haven't seen the tears I cried. You haven't seen the struggle.
Come on.
You haven't seen, oh my gosh, you have not seen half of it. I was like, well, praise the Lord, somebody got something out of this. I was like, what? Right? But 5 years later, I'm still here. Praise the Lord. Right? And He's blessed. He's blessed. And you know what? I'm building. I'm still building. I'm still building. I'm in the process of getting another business established. I'm still building because that's what we're called to do, to build. If you're not building, you're not in the image of Christ. Christ always multiplies. He doesn't stay stagnant. He builds. He multiplies. Right? So that's what we're called to do. And so I say this, if you don't know what to do something. Do research.
That's right.
And then when you get done doing research, do something after that. Just don't lose the momentum. Because if you're not doing something, you lose the momentum. And then when you lose the momentum, your focus is gone. And the enemy can distract you with all kinds of stuff.
Oh, man. Hallelujah.
And then you're looking back. Oh my gosh, he gave me this idea in 1962.
Come on.
What did I do? Oh my gosh. Or how about this? Have you ever seen like one of those infomercials on TV and you're like, oh my gosh, I thought of that.
Yes, exactly. That's right.
And you're like, you know what? I dropped it in you, but what did you do with it? All right. I'm gonna give it to my people first, but what are you gonna do with it? trusting Him and moving forward. I hope that this word was sobering because this was the intent.
Amen.
Because I had my sobering moment, as you all have already heard. And I don't want to see anybody go through the time that I went through praying and fasting and asking and all of that. End up like Moses.
Help us.
So learn from what I went through. Learn from what Moses went through. And learn from what David, Esther, Joseph, Gideon, all the other people we talked to or talked about went through. Right? Because we want to make it in.
Amen. Yes.
So if you have to repent, make stuff right with the Lord, get on the ball, whatever, just do it. Just do it so you can get back in alignment with Him. Amen.
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 So I hope this bless somebody. That's all the Lord gave me. Give me another hand clap. That was very sobering. Amen. We thank you, Shannon, for pouring out and being so transparent. Amen. Before we broke for lunch, a sister came to me and she said that she really needed to share her testimony. She didn't want to back away from that because she wanted to be obedient to God. So right before the music begins, I'm going to ask her to come and share. We pray that someone, or we know that someone, more than just one of us, are going to be blessed by what she's sharing and her testimony. Amen?
Amen.
And then we'll prepare to enter into the 7 p.m. session. Amen.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I want to try and be transparent. I'm very nervous right now. But I know this is where God has called me to be, and this is what I'm called to do. So, is it alright if I tell my testimony?
Amen.
Where do I begin? Growing up as a child, I was extremely bad. Like, bad. To the point where I would go to the corner stores and steal my parents' money, and do what little kids do. And God gave me this extraordinary mind where I would create a plan to get what I want from my parents. And in that process, I couldn't understand. I'm like, God, you gave me this range, and I'm doing things like that. But I never paid any attention to it. But I still did what I did. I stealed, I lied to my parents, as kids, little kids would do. And one of the most things that happened to me was I was abused by a family member. My mother, she was very abusive to me when I was a child. And growing up, every time when I would do such a thing, she would take it to a whole nother level of discipline. I'm Haitian, my parents are from Haiti, we're Caribbean, and how Caribbean discipline a child is way different than what people do in America. And the way she would discipline me, she would tie my feet against the feet of the bed. And I would not, I couldn't get out. To the point where I would be there for about 2 to 3, 4, or the next day without eating. So, and when I was there, so I'm like, God, what I'm doing, I have to break out. And then when I finally tried to break out, don't know how I did it because she tied it real tight. These Caribbean women have a way of tying stuff that you can't get out of. And I just find a way for me to get out, and then I will go back and do the same thing that I used to do. I would go and steal, and I would still get caught. And I would go back upstairs. It would be a traumatic experience that I would go through. Excuse me, I'm so nervous right now. but I know I'm facing my fears and I have to tell the devil my word has to come out. And I know this is where I'm going to help young females who's been abused in their lives to know that you can't stop voicing your voice. Like the song says, and I will not be silent. I will always worship you.
Yes.
As long as I am breathing, I will always worship you. And while I'm singing this song, I could remember that no matter all the things that I've been through, I could have been dead a long time ago. You know what I mean? But I'm here telling my testimony, knowing that I can't allow the enemy to shut my mouth up.
Come on. Yes, ma'am.
And during the process of me being abused by my mother, there was one day I stole money from her, and it was used for her to pay bills. I didn't know that. I was a little kid, and I was just spending it everywhere. And when she found out, she took a chef knife. She put it, like she opened the stove, and placed it on top of the fire. I will never forget this day. And she was like, come here. So I'm like, what are you doing with that? And she literally burned my whole entire body with it. So I spent a few days with literally burn marks over my body, and I was in pain. And I remember sleeping, but in the spirit, I see people coming in my room just crying, especially my father. Like, he never knew about it because he was at work, and he was just crying. So I'm like, God, did you just took me out of my body to see my father cry? And I'm knocked out, but I could see him in front of me just crying. And I went to church that day, and my grandmother just weeping. It's like, why would you do that to her? Why would you do that to her? And growing up, I had so much resentment towards my mother that I couldn't understand the measures that she took to discipline me as a child. So, like, I would always say, maybe you should have just made me, go to timeout, but that wasn't enough for her. And sometimes I felt like she had something against me that I couldn't know what it was. You know what I mean? So as I'm 28 now, and now I'm starting to realize that she was trying to, she didn't really do it like, I don't know, how can I say it? She was trying to show me in her way, don't know why, that there's certain things that you can do that you are not supposed to do the wrong way. If you guys understand what I'm saying, like, she didn't meant to do it intentionally, but in her way, she thought that it was love. But the way that I took it is like, you abused me. And but when I tell people my testimony, it was like, did you hate her? I'm like, I could have, but then I have to remember she's my mother. And then growing up, I couldn't love anybody because I never really used to tell my parents I loved them. Don't know why. They knew I loved them, but the words would never come out. So I had a hard time loving people. So I had to find love in the streets. And I did everything. I went to clubs, and I had partners here and there, and because I was searching for love. But I was always going to church, but I felt like I'm still missing something. You know what I mean? And I just came to a realization, I'm like, you know what, God, I need something. I need you to do something in my life. And growing up, I remember another story that happened. I'm sorry, I'm just going all over the place, but I'm just like, everything's just rushing through my head that God just wants me to let it out. I remember in 8th grade, after my mother stopped abusing me while I was in 8th grade, she had a stroke. So in that moment, I'm like, God, what is going on? My mother's having a stroke. What is this that's going on? And I remember last year, it was God that's telling me it was because of what she'd done to you. So it's not the first stroke that she had. I think she had 3 or 4 strokes after that. And then right there, I was right next to her. Some child or some other people would be like, all right, I'm not gonna be by her side. I was always at the hospital with her. I was always in the room praying, even though she was doing things to me. Like my mother would talk to me crazy. And I'm like, yo, I should not even be here with you right now because of what you have done to me as a kid. But then it's like, you know what, I can't hold that against her because she thought that she was doing something the right way because she loved me. You know what I mean? And then when she was going through her moment, I never left her side. To this day, she still acts a little funny, but I'm like, I'm here if you want me. If you want me to take you to the mall, if you want me to take you shopping, I'm here. You know what I mean? And it just reminded me that what I went through as a kid made me who I am today. I am a stronger person than I am today. You know what I mean? And I just thank God for what He put me through because I believe everything happens for a reason. I mean, God created us. He knew our names from the beginning. He knows, He knows how many hairs we have on our head. So He knew that I was going to go through an abuse with my mother. You know what I mean? He knew that I was going to be born at 8 months. He knew that I was going to be belittled, like I stayed back in first grade. I couldn't understand, like I couldn't get nothing right. So I'm like, God, what's going on? And then I realized it was the words that my mother would say to me. Oh, you never amount to anything. You're never going to do nothing in life. You think a man is going to love you for the way you're acting right now? So I'm like, what are you saying to me? I'm trying to do the best I can and to become the woman I want to be. Now, I'm 28 years old, 3 kids, a husband, have my own business, starting another business, all by the grace of God. And I couldn't have done it without Him. So I just want to tell anybody who's struggling right now that whatever that you went through, don't let that hold you back, because I had the fear of that holding me back. I kept this a secret for a long time because I didn't know how, especially my Haitian people would react to it. A mother disciplining a child like that, oh, they think it's normal. But I know deep down in my heart, it's wrong.
Yes.
You can't discipline a child like that. You can't tie her feet against the bed and not feed her days. You can't burn her with a knife and say it's okay. You know what I mean? But I thank God for allowing her to do that, to make me see how I am today. Now I have a little girl who is 5 years old. What my mother did to me, I can't do to her. I know how to speak to her correctly. If she does something bad, I know how to talk to her. You know what I mean?
Amen.
And I just thank God for His grace, His mercy, because I could have died a long time ago. When I was 13, I was on a school bus, and I remember my eyes started to bother me, and I just saw something black coming in front of my eyes. I couldn't understand, so I just kept rubbing it, and I'm like, God, what's going on? I woke up the next morning, the next thing you know, my eye went lazy, my lips went to the side. I went to the doctor, they couldn't understand what was going on with me, and in the back of my mind, I was like, God, did I just have a mini stroke right now? Nobody could understand what was going on with me. Like the devil literally tried to take me out. Like I couldn't, like my speech was slurred. I couldn't figure out what was going on. When I went to school, I literally went to school like that. When I was talking, people would laugh at me. So I'm like, God, I'm going through a moment where my lips is to the side. My eyes is droopy, but it didn't look like that at the time. People look at me in my face, they'll think that I'm normal. Like I told my husband, you know I have a lazy eye. He's like, what? No, you don't. So I'm like, I have a lazy eye. So he's like, all right, let's go to the eye doctor. And then when the doctor checked my eyes, he told my husband, your wife has a lazy eye, but you can't really see it. So I'm like, wow, thank God that it wasn't all crazy because you know how people have their eyes looking. Anyway, but I just thank God that I'm still here today, that the devil literally tried to take me out, not once, but twice. I remember when my mother literally, I got hit that day and I went to go sit downstairs in my basement and my floor was concrete. The next thing you know, I felt something push me and my head banged on the floor. And then I went to sleep and I woke up and I was fine. And I just want to thank God for all that He has done for me and continue to pray while I go through my journey. Thank you.